Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along. I'm out for a stroll here today. There's a little bit of a spitting rain and nice and warm. I'm in a shorts and t-shirt here in the UK, believe it or not. Another beautiful day. I hope it is as wonderful where you are. That's my weather report for the day. Welcome along. Welcome along to the walk today. Can you feel it? Can you feel the tension in the air? There's tension from every direction. There's news. There's a constant tension in the air, and it's coming from everywhere. We've got what's happening in Israel and the Gaza Strip, Iran, China and Taiwan. We've got the election drama in the United States. We've got the Queen's just come out here in the UK. Strangely, the Queen, like the Queen's still alive apparently. The Queen has come out and said, we need to make sure that people are showing ID when they vote to make sure that the vote is valid. Why would you do that? With everything that's going on in the United States. So welcome along. We'll go through these things and many, many more in this little episode of the stroll along through the farmland, through the woods that we're going into on this beautiful afternoon. So it is odd, don't you think, that this time that we're going through right now, there's so much going on, and it's just getting started. This is it. This is the long hot summer that we've been promised for 2 years, where I believe that letter of the alphabet that I'm not allowed to mention, the 17th letter of the alphabet, that one, that I've already had a community guidelines strike for posting a video daring to say a letter of the alphabet, that letter of the alphabet has been promising us for 2 years. A long hot summer. Now we find ourselves in a situation. Oh, let's not forget the fuel crisis in the US as well. The fuel crisis. Let's start there, shall we? Well, let's go back not too long ago when we had a tanker, the Ever Given, that just happened to get lodged in the Suez Canal. Like impossibly, ships go through it every day. Never happened before, but this ship, the Ever Given, managed to get itself lodged in the Suez Canal, blocking the entire canal. Very, very strangely, and some very odd goings on. I think that the ship is still there, in fact. And very odd, very, very odd that what went on in the Suez Canal with that ship. And I think they're keeping it there because the Egyptian government is demanding a $1 billion payment for the damage and for holding up the Suez Canal. And back then I did a video saying, are they using this to hide inflation and to say, supply shock, and people said, no, that's not possible. That's not what's going on. Here we are with what's happening in the US and a pipeline, the computer system that controls a pipeline with oil moving through a pipeline. Okay, so the oil that moves through the pipeline. No oil comes from. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust this here. Make sure that we turn that off. Sorry about that. It's very, very odd that we have oil coming through a pipeline, right? We know oil travels by ship anymore. All those ships that were held up, all those cargo ships that were held up in the Suez Canal, full of oil, where they have the massive oil tanks in all parts of the world. They're all empty apparently, and the only way you can get oil from point A to point B is through a pipeline. But didn't Uncle Joe shut down that Keystone pipeline as soon as he came into power? And now his energy minister, or whatever you call them over there, has come out and said, well, oil pipelines are the best way to do it. So the computer system, okay, that for a pipeline that was set up in 1969, the computer system that controls the oil moving through a pipe. I mean, gone are the days where you could just turn a crank and the oil and it would open. But the computer system was hacked by a group calling themselves Dark Side, something Dark Side. I mean, it gets more ridiculous by the day. So these hackers who said, well, we never meant to cause any harm. So this group, DarkSide, they're calling themselves, hacked a computer system that controls a pipeline that was set up in 1969. How did anything ever happen before computers? When I grew up, when I was a kid many years ago, many years ago, we didn't have computers, and it's odd, I always thought that, so something under a pressure, maybe a pump. Are pumps controlled by computers? Do they have to be? Maybe not, yeah. As long as they get electricity, right? But computer system gets hacked and then the oil doesn't go there anymore. So we've got a crisis. Then it's odd that, the thing I've been talking about now for months, inflation because, the central banks are printing money out of their ass. It's like, brrr, the printer goes, brrr. Central banks and governments have been putting more and more money into circulation. Fiat, sorry, not money. No, there's not money. Fiat cash, the paper money that you call money, that's not really money. It has no intrinsic value. That's why I'm not calling it money. So they've been running the printing press for 12 years now, since 2008. Full ball, non-stop. It's kind of funny that we've got a record stock market when they're running the printer at full ball. So, there's so many odd occurrences, and as the prices are going up in the US for fuel, since Uncle Joe came into power, legitimately, of course. Yeah, I believe that. So since he came into power, inflation's been going crazy, absolutely insane. Jobs figures are terrible. Right? And, the fuel prices were going up already. And people were like, why are the fuel prices going up like this? This is ridiculous. There's no inflation. But then, Janet Yellen from the Treasury and the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell, was it, comes out and says, well, we might see some inflation, but it'll be transitory. Mm-hmm. Yep. That makes sense. Yep. Transitory inflation. Transitory means, it's not going to last for very long, but we just printed trillions, tens of trillions, but it's only going to be transitory inflation. It's okay. You don't need to worry about that. We're not talking about hyperinflation or anything like that. Okay. So, then all of a sudden, a pipeline gets hacked. Okay. And then there's no oil, there's no fuel. Oh my God. Because we can't get fuel around, there's no tanker trucks to drive, obviously, because no one wants to work because they've been paid to stay at home, strangely. But can you see the ridiculousness of that? I mean, it is utterly, completely ridiculous. Inflation is everywhere. Look around you. You don't have to believe me. What am I? I'm not an economist, I'm just some guy walking along with his bike in the forest. What do I know? I'm crazy. I'm a conspiracy theorist. But look around you. It is insane what's going on. Absolutely insane. And the numbers, let's not forget about the numbers. We've got government officials now saying the numbers of the thing that we're not allowed to talk about, the thing that we've been living with for the past over a year, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, the thing that we've been living with for over a year now, they're saying, well, just because that was on their death certificate doesn't mean we didn't actually test for it, but that still counts as in the numbers. It's lunacy. It is absolute lunacy what's going on. So then we move over to Israel and the Palestinians. Now, as I've said many times, as I've done these walks and talks, what we're seeing in every single aspect of our lives, is division. Division, hatred. We're taught to not trust each other. We're divided on every single line you can possibly imagine. Every single one. Every single man against woman, gay against straight, you name it. Black against white. Every single thing that you can possibly be divided on, we're being divided on. For a reason. It's deliberate. And here we are again with another situation with Israel and Palestine. Now, we've got some people. Are they Palestinian or are they from somewhere else? Maybe Iran, perhaps. maybe a 3-letter agency perhaps, who knows? But we have a look around you, have a look at your Facebook, have a look at Twitter, have a look at all of it. And you'll see the division along the lines again. Oh, I support Israel, I support the Palestinians. We're all fighting with each other yet again. And it's all, it's obvious what's going on, but I can see it plain as day. But obviously, we're being manipulated yet again and divided along, ridiculous lines of I support the Palestinians, I support the Israelis. Look, it's funny as well that it happens right on Eid, the end of the fasting for the Muslims in the world, that rockets start to fly in from Gaza into Israel. Then they're getting shot down by the, what do they call it? Iron Shield, I think it is. It's the Israeli missile defense system. Where'd that come from? US, perhaps? So they've got a missile defense system in Israel that's shooting down all the rockets. I mean, it looks awesome. It really does. It's something to see. Air raid shelter, air raid alarms going off, sirens going off everywhere, missiles getting blown up in the air. It looks awesome. It really does. It looks like Star Wars. But we're all being divided. Who we support. But who's really doing this? Who's really responsible for this? Are we being told the truth? There's on the like I say, in that 17th letter of the alphabet on the boards, there was mention that Israel was last for a reason. What is that reason? Who knows? But this is the thing. I think that we are in the last stages of this whole narrative that we've been living in for decades. We're at the end stages of this. It's all being torn down. Everything that we always thought was true, that we believed was real, all of it's coming down. All of it. All the narratives, all the media's telling the truth. Politicians, they always tell the truth. But there is. It's everything at the moment. What's happening in the US with the elections? I mean, you're not allowed to say the F word. But it's interesting what's happening in Maricopa County, where the audit is going ahead. Who knows what's going to come out of that? Well, we've got a pretty good idea what's going to come out of it. Why is if this election was all above board and everything was good, then why not do an audit? What's the problem with having an audit? If everything is above board and everything is as it should be, why wouldn't you want to do an audit? Make sure that they're secure. Make sure everything is above board, and if you can, make things operate better, if you can make the systems better, why wouldn't you want to? Why would you need to send, 70 plus lawyers in to counteract an audit of the process? I mean, why would you need to do that? I don't understand. Maybe I'm just too stupid. I mean, I've been told that. Maybe I should be listening to the people that tell me I'm stupid all the time. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm just too stupid to understand why you need to send in 70 odd lawyers to stop an audit of a legitimate election. I don't understand. But for 4 years, all we heard, when Trump was in power, when he was president, was Russia hacked the election. And then as soon as Trump leaves, and we were told that for 4 years. Russian collusion, remember? And then what happened with Russian collusion? Turned out to be complete bullshit, right? But we heard for 4 solid years, Russia hacked the election. They're buying adverts. All these things that we heard about the election of Donald Trump. And then as soon as Trump's out of power, the most secure election in history. Couldn't have been anything wrong with that one. There's so many things at the moment, just it makes you scratch your head and go, what the fuck is going on with the world? But it is, what's happening is necessary. As I've been through before, the crazy is being ramped up to, ludicrous speed. If anyone who's out there who's seen Spaceballs, when will then be now? It's been ramped up to ludicrous for a good reason. The only way that we can get past this brainwashing that we've been living with my entire life. You know, if you're a bit older than me, perhaps your entire life as well. Decades. This is generational, brainwashing of all the systems that we've come to trust are now being exposed for being not just untrustworthy, but a complete fabrication of the truth on everything. You know, everything that we thought that we knew, every system that we trusted, everything that we think that we know is in question now. Everything. I will be at some point doing a video about disclosure. It's a tough one. It's a tough subject because there's so many competing narratives with this thing that it's hard to put it all together in one cohesive thought process that really outlines what I want to say with it. Because there is, there's so many different aspects to this disclosure. And I've looked at it all. I mean, really, I've looked at every single angle, and that's I have trouble with it. Is the disclosure really about beings from other planets, or is it interdimensional? But that's for another video. We're not going to go there today, but it's a tricky subject, and I'm going to tackle it hopefully in the next couple of videos. But it all depends on what happens over the coming weeks. That we'll put it that way. And there's so many competing narratives with this. It's hard to sort of put it all together and have it as a narrative that I can, without having to write it all down, because I don't record any of these. I don't plan them. I just come out and I go for a walk through the woods and talk about particular subjects. But I think with everything that we're seeing, and with the narratives the way they are right now, and multiple narratives are kicking off that are trying to take our attention. Fauci is being questioned by Jim Jordan. I love Jim Jordan. He's a legend. Wouldn't want to wrestle him though. There's so many narratives that are being brought to the fore that it is taking our attention. And as I said in my last video, everything's a distraction. We're being distracted for a reason, because it's still what I said was happening. It's still happening in the background. The reset, the financial reset, is happening as we speak, which is why we're seeing inflation. So the financial reset will continue to go ahead. The World Economic Forum version of the Great Reset, which wouldn't benefit any of us, is currently being thwarted. But there is a reset going on because the financial banking systems have to be exposed. Now, the other thing that we're seeing as well, obviously I've said to you before, I mean digital assets, cryptocurrencies, is another word for them. I've been involved in those for about 3.5 years now, a little bit longer. There's a strange amount of manipulation in the market, a huge amount of manipulation in the market, and a lot of it centers around a guy called Elon Musk. I don't know whether you've heard of him. He's been promoting something called Dogecoin or Dogcoin or whatever you want to call it. It's a piece of shit. But it's a copy of the Bitcoin blockchain, and it was designed as a joke, as a meme. That's the whole thing was designed as a meme. It was a joke, and Elon Musk, amongst others, decided to promote it, and it went from half a penny to 60 cents, based on one guy. Oh, it's Elon Musk mostly, but there's a few other people, but one guy promoting it, something that is complete dog shit. There's no value to it whatsoever. So Elon Musk has been pumping up this Dogecoin. Now he also announced that Tesla, the company, would take payments for their cars in Bitcoin. Now I questioned him on Twitter, as I do with just about everybody. I question the Prime Minister of this country. I will gladly question anyone. I never get a response because my account is tiny, and it's in the whole scheme of things, I'm no one. But I said to Elon Musk in a tweet, I said, well, why would a company like Tesla that's selling electric cars because you're worried about the environment why would you invest in and take payment in Bitcoin that uses so much electricity? It uses for the equivalent amount of electricity of running a house for 2 weeks for one transaction. Why would you as a company do that? They were accepting payment, and they also had Bitcoin in their treasury because they were worried about inflation, strangely. So, then yesterday, Elon Musk announces that they're no longer going to accept Bitcoin as payment for Tesla because of the very reason I raised in the tweet. And many other people talked about it as well. That's why would you accept Bitcoin as a payment when it takes so much electricity to process a transaction, regardless of where the electricity comes from? Because as many people are saying, well, it comes from renewable sources. It doesn't matter. It reuses vast amounts of electricity to process transactions. How can that possibly be a payment method for anything? That doesn't make any sense. So here we are. We're living in crazy town. So Elon Musk tweets this out. We're not going to accept payment in Bitcoin anymore. The whole market drops. In addition to that, there's many other things going on as well. And he says, well, we're looking at other payment methods, other cryptos that use virtually no electricity. XRP doesn't mention XRP, even though it hardly uses any electricity because it doesn't use proof of work. Proof of work is where you have to mine the crypto to approve transactions. That's the short answer. So anything proof of work coin uses mining, uses vast amounts of electricity to process transactions. It's not good for the environment. And for all the people out there that want to save the planet, proof of work is not it. XRP uses a consensus method of confirming transactions that doesn't use electricity like that. But yeah, here we are. We're living in crazy town. It's insane. And all the narratives that are coming together right at the same time. It is absolutely, I look at so many different things. I look at the financial markets. I read, Wall Street Journal. I read The Economist. I'm looking at, crypto channels. I read news, geopolitical, political. I look at so many different sources of information to try and make sure that my opinion about what I'm going to talk about is from a viewpoint of hopefully a deeper understanding of things, and from a perspective of someone that's not only focused on one thing, because it's easy to get focused on one thing and think that thing controls everything, and it doesn't. Everything's connected. Everything is connected. It's all connected. But more and more, I keep coming back to the same thing. Are we living in a simulation? Is this all designed to have us, to trigger us? And if it is, what's it for? What's the triggering for? What can we gain from this? What can we learn? Now, I was talking with someone just the other day about how counterintuitive learning something new is. I always wanted to be more patient. Patience is my biggest problem. I'm impatient with people around me. I'm impatient with the way the world is. I'm impatient with a lot of things because I operate at a different level. I only sleep 4 or 5 hours a day. So I don't have a lot of patience for things that I just deem to be ridiculous. How people can believe some of the things that they believe and then try and force those beliefs on me. I don't force my beliefs on anyone. You believe whatever you want to believe. I'll present information to you. And try and have a rational discussion with people. Doesn't always work. I get angry, I get pissed off, I yell at people all the time. I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be that person. But it's just we've gotten to a point now where it's just I find it hard to believe that people can't see what's going on. I don't know how it is in your world, but I've got a lot of people around me that I'm butting heads with. I try to avoid that. I try to step back and realise that it is divisive right now, and it is difficult. But I was talking about counterintuitiveness of learning something new and having experiences in your life that you can learn from. And if you don't learn from them, they just keep on repeating. They just keep on coming back to slap you in the face and say, "Hey, remember?" So one of those things for me, it was always patience. Trying to learn patience. So do you learn patience by, how do you learn patience? By putting you in situations where you have to be patient. Like for me, one of those patience things is, I've got children. If you've got children, you know what I mean. It's difficult to stay patient. But yeah, and crypto. I've been involved in crypto for 3.5 years. I was thinking it would happen long before now, but here we are, 3.5 years later, and we're still waiting. Diamond hands, by the way, diamond hands. And it is, the world, or this simulation or whatever we're living in, gives you opportunities to learn those lessons through the experiences you have. It's counterintuitive. If you want to know what love is, if you want to know, how love feels, you have to understand the duality of existence. You have to know hate in order to understand love. You have to know impatience to understand patience. You have to it is, I've been told as well, the duality is, but in this 3D realm that we live in this reality, in this simulation, whatever you want to call it, there is a duality of existence. And to understand one part of that, you have to understand the opposite of it. You have to experience that in order to learn that lesson from that thing that you don't want. So we're going through all these crazy times at the moment. Why? Because we need to take something from it. We need to learn from this. Is it benefiting us to allow the centralization of power and this corruption to continue? Or are we finally going to learn that lesson and say, no, I'm not playing by your rules anymore. I'm not obeying what you tell me to do. Or are we going to continue to go round and round the same circle and keep on making the same mistakes and getting to the same result? We have to make that decision for ourselves, and we make that decision through the experiences and the things that we're experiencing at the moment. So when I say that we have to go through this, I mean it in that, in order for us to learn the lessons, and to find a different way of doing things, Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And that's what we're trying to do. We keep on trying to solve things the same way as we always have. And we're going to keep on going around the same circle and getting the same result. And we're going to be scratching our heads going, why are we still here? We keep on trusting politicians to fix things, throwing money at things. Oh yeah, we'll make sure that we raise taxes so we can throw more money at problems. And has it fixed anything? All we need is just more money. In order to make people, get people out of poverty, we just have to give them money. What's that? The parable from the Bible, I think. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for the rest of his life. Where are we? We're talking about giving people money. We're talking about inequality. Giving people money isn't going to solve anything. We keep on doing the same things. We keep on trusting the same people. And it is a roundabout that we're on. What we're going through now is an opportunity for us to learn and to change the systems that we live in. Change who we're trusting. Change the governmental system. We have to change everything because it hasn't brought us to a good place. I think we can all agree with that. I don't care what side of the aisle you're from, whether you're Labour or Conservative or Republican or Liberal, whatever side of the political spectrum you're on, you have to understand that no matter who is in power, it hasn't led us to a good place, and that's because the systems are broken, and we need to replace them with something better. And we, as the governed, as the citizens, as the players in this game, we have control over this because we are the ones. We're the majority. But we're being divided into little minority groups, where everyone's a minority, everyone's fighting in their own corner rather than coming together and realizing that we're all being manipulated by these scumbags who are running the game. Are we ready to learn the lesson yet? Or are we going to continue going down the same road, getting the same result? Time to choose. Do we come together, forget all the petty squabbles and bullshit, and come together, or are we going to continue to make the same mistakes? I think we should come together and stand against this tyranny and stand against the lunacy and move forward together. And that's the talk. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. I'm out here. The rain's just started to fall. Can smell the fresh earth. It's absolutely wonderful. Go out into the world. Get some exercise. Get some fresh air. It is wonderful out in the world. trust people, start talking with people and interact with them, because we all need to come together to solve these massive issues and not keep on doing the same mistakes that we always have. All right, love you all. Look after yourselves, look after each other, and I'll look forward to speaking to you real soon. Take care. Ciao for now.